This is the story of me unexpectedly getting a speaking role with Timothy Chalamet in the new Timothy Chalamet movie, Marty Supreme, and my scene may or may not have been deleted in the editing process due to my terrible, subpar acting. If you guys have been watching the channel for a little bit, you know that I occasionally work for this modeling agency here in Tokyo where I've done various random modeling gigs, and I did some voice acting for a Digimon web series.
Hello, Professor Ryuzenji.
Not as cool as it may sound. A lot of people think that's the biggest dick thing that you can possibly say. Yeah, I'm a model in Tokyo, but to be honest, in Japan, in Tokyo, there really aren't so many blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guys, so I would say like 50% of the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guys that I know in Tokyo don't even have to be good looking. They have done some type of modeling work, or they, at the very least, work with some type of talent agency. And just because someone tells you they're a model or they work with a talent agency, especially in Tokyo, doesn't mean that they're actually getting gigs and getting paid to work. So anyways, guys, I've done a couple random jobs here and there, nothing too serious at all. But about 1 year ago, I got an offer for an independent American movie, and I've never done acting before, so when I saw an independent American movie, they wanted me to go to the casting. I thought, well, it must be some type of, I don't know, Sharknado 7, Sand Part 4, Backdoor Sleuths Part 12, some type of ridiculous low-budget movie, which I actually thought would have been sick. I don't know, I don't know much about movies at all. I don't watch movies. I don't know anything about Hollywood. For some reason, I assumed even if it's an extra for a big movie like a Marty Supreme, a Timothy Chalamet movie, like everybody is somebody, even the extras. I don't know, that's just kind of my dumb train of thought. But anyways, I thought since it was some type of independent movie and they were asking me, who's never acted, who's never been in a movie before, it must be some type of low-budget film, which would actually be super, super dope, because I was thinking there's some type of chance I could be in some type of crazy horror movie. Maybe I get eaten by a gorilla shark or something. Like, this is going to be badass. And I was telling all my friends for the few weeks leading up to the shooting that, dude, I'm going to be in some type of low-budget, independent American film. This is going to be sick. It's probably going to be some shitty horror movie. And that's actually so cool. I think that would be badass if the only movie I ever was in was like some type of movie where it's like just terrible acting, super low budget. What's the name of that? Birdemic. Have you guys seen Birdemic? If you haven't seen Birdemic, go check out Birdemic. I was really hoping that I was going to be in Birdemic 3, but unfortunately, I ended up doing a speaking scene with Timothy Chalamet. So I go to the casting. They didn't really have me do anything. They just want to see what I look like. Took a couple pictures of me. Said they liked my look. Next week, I show up. I get my costume fitted, they cut my hair, they do makeup on me every single day for 3 days. They're doing my costume, they size me up, they get all my measurements, they're measuring they're measuring the package. They had to get extra large pants that they didn't have. They had to special order them for your boy because couldn't fit. Stupid joke, not even funny. But anyways, we do 3 full days of shooting. I remember it was cold as shit. We're out in Ueno Koen. Guys, if you guys know Ueno Koen, Ueno Park, in Tokyo, in Ueno, there's a very, very large park. Not many people know in the backside of the park by the pond, there is a large stadium area where they hold concerts and such, and there are a whole bunch of seats, like a whole auditorium, right? And so the scene that we were shooting was the final, sorry guys, if you haven't watched the movie yet, I'll spoil it a little bit, so click off now if you're worried about the spoilers. But the final scene of the movie basically is Marty, the American ping pong player, goes all the way to Japan to play Japan's best ping pong player, and it's right after the war. The only Americans who are supporting him in the crowd there are the infantrymen that are hanging out after the war, and I happen to be one of those infantrymen. So for like 3 straight days, we shoot just this final ping pong match, and it's crazy how many shots they do from all the different angles. But I remember they told us, like, go crazy, be really loud. I was losing my voice and shit. They were like, be really, really loud, just scream shit. And so we're like partying out in the audience. And if you guys watch the movie, you can see me. I'm going crazy. There's a scene where I'm like, I wasn't doing that, but I was going crazy out there. And then there's this other one where I'm like, yeah. It was funny because most of the guys around me, they were like complaining that it was cold and they didn't like the food there, and they thought they weren't getting paid enough, so they're like, I'm not gonna act super hard. Some of them look like they don't want to be there, but I just thought it was like badass. Like, this is the only movie I'm ever gonna be in probably, so I might as well go crazy. I'm trying to have my people see me in the movie if they go watch the movie, right? So I was going hard for like 2 days, and the third day comes around, right? And they told the infantrymen that we could go relax. They didn't know if they were going to need us anymore, but kind of hang around in case they have to shoot something again. Go get your lunch break. Go eat your slop and fucking wait in the barracks. And we sit down and we start like eating our catered lunch, you know, like, and out of nowhere this Japanese guy comes over, and I've never seen this dude before. I was like, who is this guy? He's like, hey, are you Jimmy? I'm like, yeah, I'm Jimmy. He's like, come follow me. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on here? I don't even know. He was like, can we get a video of you really quick? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, I just want to hear you talk a little bit. Just riz us a little bit. Just tell us where you're from. Give us your name. I was like, all right, well, my name's Jimmy. I'm from Chicago. I'm 29 years old. Looking forward to working with you. I don't know. That's pretty much all I said. And he was like, that was great. That was awesome. I don't know who this dude is. So at the time, I was thinking that maybe he's some type of Japanese director and he's making a movie in the future or something. And he saw me going hard in the audience, and he liked my enthusiasm in the audience. I was going hard. I was twerking. And he was just like, yo, I like this guy's enthusiasm or something, so I'm going to get his information and request that he is an extra in my movie or something like that. That's what I was assuming. Little did I know, the plot was about to thicken. And this is where it gets interesting, y'all. So I'm like, all right, whatever. This dude walks away. He took my name down, my agency, whatever. And then we sit back and we're hanging out in the tent, kind of waiting for them to finish up. Because after they finished the match scene, they went back into this little office behind where the stage and the auditorium is. There's like this little office, and they were filming something in there with like Timothy Chalamet and like one or two other people. And so they were like, just stand by in case we need you guys to like film another crowd scene or something like that. So we're standing by for a few hours, and once again, what do I hear? Jimmy! Where's Jimmy? And I just assume that it's not me, because once again, why the fuck would they want me? I'm just a nobody. I'm just an extra. This time, it's a dude from the American team. And he comes up to me, because there's two teams, right? There's like the A24, the American people that came all the way here to shoot the movie. And then there's also people that were based in Tokyo, like the Japanese team, and they're working together or whatever. So this is a guy from, I don't know if he's from A24 or what, but he comes up to me. He's like, are you Jimmy? And I was like, yes, I am. But I'm assuming it's not me. Like, I'm Jimmy. I'm the infantryman guy. And he goes, yes. And I'm like, what's going on here? And he's like, we got him. I'm like, oh shit, did I do something? Am I in trouble? Do I have to call my mom? Do I have to go home? What's going on? I don't know what's going to happen. And Joshua Safdie, the director of the movie, also directed Uncut Gems. If you guys have seen that movie, badass movie, by the way, comes up, and he was just like, yo, have you ever acted before? I was like, no. And he was like, do you want to run some lines? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I remember he stopped and he was like, wait, you can say no. I was like, why the fuck would I say no? Someone asked me if I want to run some lines in a badass movie with Timothy Chalamet, and this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Of course I'm going to say yes. And I'm locked in because this is what I do. But he was like, are you sure you want to do that? He's like, this is you know, I understand if you're nervous, like nothing wrong if you want to say no, we'll ask someone else, whatever. But we need somebody to run some lines with Timmy. And I was like, Timmy? Is he talking about Timothy Chalamet? And he's like, I need someone to run some lines with Timmy. We go back to the back, and there's this office. And Timothy Chalamet is hanging out in this office filming this scene right after the match ends. And he's like, we need you to like do a little improv right here, because we don't have the lines, we don't have the script. We're just gonna have to improv this shit. We're just gonna run it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, let's get it. Jimmy wants to go, whatever. And I was like, oh shit. Like suddenly 10 people swarm me, start fixing my hair, doing makeup on me. There's a lady taking a video of me on her camera, asking me for all of my information, my agency, and my name to be in the credits. They're putting microphones all up and down my pants and swiveling it through my socks. And they're putting a monitor in my sock and then up past my ball sack and up through my shirt. And there's a microphone here. And they're like snipping my hair and shit and fixing me up and fixing someone's doing all my buttons. It was crazy. It was the most important I've ever felt in my life. And it lasted for a total of 2 minutes. They're just like, all right, Joshua, the director, gets up in my face and he's like, yo, so like I said, we don't have lines. You're just going to have to improvise this shit. What's happening right now is Timothy Marty just won the match, and now he's calling home from the office talking about how he won, and we want you to sneak into the room while he's on the phone, bother him, interrupt, and ask for an autograph. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And he was like, are you okay? You seem a little bit too calm right now. And I was like, I get told that pretty often. People think I'm too calm. People think I'm too confident. And I tell them time and time again, this is just what I do. Sorry, I'm a douchebag. But I was like, no, yeah, like let's just run it. Let's just run. Like, what the fuck? I mean, and it helped because I don't watch movies. Dude, I didn't even know this was a Timothy Chalamet movie. I remember on the first day of shooting, I was watching him play ping pong, and I remember thinking, I don't even know what movie this is. They didn't tell me the name of the movie. They didn't tell me the company, anything. I'm just here, and I'm seeing this dude play ping pong, and I remember thinking, this dude looks dorky as hell. His acting is dorky as hell. I mean, I'm just a douchebag, obviously, because now I understand how stupid I was and how professional he is. But I remember watching him and just being like, this is dorky. What is this? And this guy next to me is like, do you like any of Timothy's movies? And I was like, who's Timothy? He's like, that's Timothy Chalamet. And I was like, oh, shit. Who's that? I'm like, I mean, I had heard the name before, but I've never watched any of his movies. So I Googled his name and shit. And I saw that he was in all these crazy movies and he's super famous. And I was like, okay, that's pretty dope. So then I locked in. I started paying attention more and I realized how serious this dude was with his acting and everybody there, how professional everybody was there. And I felt like a douchebag for initially being biased as hell and judging him. But anyways, long story short, we get through the shooting. We get to the acting scene, right? And he's like, boom, you're going to have to improvise this shit. Timothy's great. Just improvise with him. Just roll with him. Just answer his questions. He's going to ask you some questions and just go with it. I was like, all right, boom, let's get it. They mic'd me up. They got me all lubed up and greased up. And they slapped me in there. And basically shoot this scene like 50 fucking times. The match just ends. He's calling home. Hey, I won the thing in Japan. And then I bust in the door. I'm like, oh, sorry, yo, do you mind if I bother you? Sorry. Can an infantryman get an autograph? I would really appreciate it. And he's like, well, yeah, like, of course, anything for a serviceman. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And by the way, the general wants to talk to you as well. Is that okay? And he's like, what, the general? Hell yeah, I'd love to talk to him. And he's like, dude, what's your name? I was like, I'm Jimmy. I'm from Chicago. I literally say, I'm Jimmy. I'm from Chicago in the scene. And the director was like, yo, that was great. Keep doing that. Just say you're Jimmy from Chicago. And I was like, let's go. Let's run it. So I was like, I'm Jimmy from Chicago. And then he's like, no way, dude. I won the tournament, the whatever tournament back in Chicago like 5 years ago. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then basically this dude like busts in the door and starts yelling at him and like other shit happened. But this is what happened is I like opened this final scene of the movie right after he wins the big match, the climax of the movie. We finish it after so many takes. I talked to Timothy like in between takes. We're kind of like shooting the shit a little bit here and there. Oh, dude, I'm tired, bro. It's cold. Bro, Tokyo's sick, isn't it? And we finished shooting finally, and this was the last scene of the entire movie, of all of the shooting for like a year or whatever, however long they were working on the movie. So everybody's like celebrating, like, yeah, finally, congratulations. And I'm just there, so out of place, but I was like high-fiving people. It's like, yeah, dude, finally, right? And I gave Timothy like a bro hug, and he was like, man, you killed it. Thank you so much. And then the director, Josh, comes up. He's like shaking me. He's like, dude, you just saved our fucking asses, dude. Thank you so much. He's like, what's your name? I was like, Jimmy. He's like, dude, make sure my team gets your name, bro. I was like, all right, cool. I told him my name. And they got me down, and the lady who was like helping me with my makeup to me afterwards, she's taking the microphone off me, and she's like, you said you weren't an actor. And I was like, I know. I said I wasn't. And she was like, you're an actor. You're lying. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, I locked in. I locked in. What can I say? I'm a natural. I got to talk to everybody, hang out for a little bit, and then I went home. And what did I do? I immediately started bugging, calling like everybody I know. I called like 10 people that night. Mom, I just did a speaking scene with Timothy Chalamet in this crazy movie, and it was wild. I called my mom, and I called my grandma, and I called everybody. And I was telling everybody the scene. I was acting it out. Even when I visited back to the States, I told like every friend that I saw, even friends that, like, probably didn't give a shit at all. I told like every friend that I saw, and I like ran through my acting in the scene and like acted like I was opening a door, and I did the whole oh dude, do you mind if I get an autograph, Timothy or Marty or whatever? You know, the movie comes out on Christmas Day this year, so I got this whole crew of all of my friends, like 15 friends, to go see it. We're all stoked. We're like, dude, I got this speaking scene. It's like the last scene in the movie. It's gonna be sick. And then like 2 days before the movie comes out, one of my friends in California went to an early showing of the movie, and he hits me up. He's like, bro, I just saw you as an extra in Marty Supreme. And I was like, yo, let's go. What about my speaking scene, though? My speaking scene? My Diet Dr. Kelp? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, dude, I had a speaking scene, like the last scene in the movie. And he was like, damn, I must not have been locked in. I must have missed you. I was like, oh, shit, for real? He must not have been locked in, right? And then like 2 days later, another dude hits me up, and he's like, bro, I just saw you as an extra on Marty Supreme. And I'm like, yo, that's sick. But what about my speaking scene, though? And he's like, dude, I didn't see you in any speaking scene. And I was like, man, you must have been taking a shit or something. You must have been eating popcorn, sucking face with your girlfriend. You just missed me. That's what must have happened. No other possibilities, no possibility at all that it was deleted in the editing process, right? And then I'm starting to freak out because I got like 15 of my friends like all dropped their plans the day after Christmas to come see the movie with me. And we go and we see me as an extra. We're all like hooting and hollering and clapping. It's coming up where he wins the ping pong match. Sorry guys for the spoilers. If you don't want to hear anymore, click off right now. But he wins the ping pong match. And so what happens is then like after the ping pong match, he goes back and like calls home or whatever. And then that's where the real actor comes in. That's where the real movie gets going. You know, that's where your boy comes in. But in the real movie, he wins the ping pong match and like the music starts playing. And then like the next cut is he's back in America. And I was just like, no! Fuck! Nah, it was okay, but I was sad. I'm not gonna lie, I was sad. Especially because I even made a YouTube video about this like a year ago saying, guys, you're not gonna believe this. Keep your eyes out. Christmas next year, or Christmas at the end of the year, some crazy shit's gonna go down. And I made this YouTube video and I told all my friends for the last year, and now I just look like a big dumbass liar hype beast. So hey, if you guys don't believe me, no problem at all. I'm sure like 90% of the people watching this video right now don't believe me. I was expecting to be famous this time this year after the movie because I had this speaking scene and nobody's even noticed me. Not a single person has noticed me. It's like that episode of SpongeBob. Isn't there an episode of SpongeBob where he's like, his shoulder is in the news or something like that, and he's like, do you remember me? That's what I feel like. And every day I get noticed in Tokyo as the guy who was attacked by that tout in Kabukicho, but nobody has noticed me as the guy in Marty Supreme yet. So if you guys see me around Tokyo, tell me that you love me in Marty Supreme. You love me going crazy in the audience at least. Hopefully they release some deleted scenes or something like that. I'm pissed, but I don't know. Hopefully they'll release an extended cut or deleted scene, something like that, and you guys will see me. But that's the story of how I got a speaking role with Timothy Chalamet. I met him and Joshua Safdie and the rest of their crew. Believe it or not, I don't really give a fuck. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.